Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so it starts up pretty easy, but they're not like cars. It's not computer controlled. It does not have fuel injection. It's really simple. It's closer to an old tractor than it is a modern car.
Cool.
So it requires a little bit of fiddling sometimes to get it going. All right, so our main electronic
on
display.
Sky View.
Our main display is booting up, and we'll let it just finish its boot up sequence here. We talked about the primary flight display. So this half right here is it gives you an artificial horizon. So looks just like flight simulator. We have a couple of tapes here that display information. So this side over here is our airspeed. We're currently at 0 miles an hour, and that is our altitude. We are currently at 1,000 feet, which is the ground elevation here, 1,000 feet above sea level. We have other information here, like we have our compass. We have this little arc up here. That shows our degree of bank. And so we have that yellow triangle, which is kind of our reference point. And so these little tick marks going around the arc is like 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees. So we can see how much our wings are banked. And we have other information that we would use at different times. On this side over here, we're going to display our engine instruments. And this is all of our critical engine stuff. This is our engine RPM, all of the temperatures to make sure they're not over-temping, our oil pressure and temperature in here, battery voltage, and then our fuel flow right in here. So currently it says we have used 0 gallons since startup. We have 11.2 gallons remaining. And at our current flow rate, flow in gallons per hour of 0.5 gallons per hour, we can run the engine for 19 hours and, 20 minutes, whatever. It's moving around because we're just idling. And that'll tell us useful information in cruise so we can see how much longer we can fly at that power setting. Go ahead. No,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to get it just really close.
Okay, yeah.
Like this kind of traffic here at 575 southwest.
What is that?
So that is another airplane that we're hearing. He's actually flying into Lee's Summit, which is about 20 miles that way. And he was announcing his position as entering the airport to make a landing at Lee's Summit. We were getting some interference because it's far away.
Okay, Sirius, copy that, and we'll set up
Is there any...
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
All right, so we're going to...
Wow.
I know, I'm sorry.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Woo.
Roosterville traffic, Sonic 604 Charlie Mike, back taxi, runway 36, Roosterville. So that's my position report back to everybody in the area that I'm getting ready to taxi on the runway. This is a small airport. There's only one runway, and there's not even a taxiway. You have to taxi on the runway itself. So it's basically a one person at a time deal. All right, so notice that we can't really see forward real well. So I have to do very small turns so I can see around the side of the nose.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little bit of chatter on the gear here. So I've got the brakes here to kind of just control our speed. And then notice my feet here, I'm making very small movements of the rudder pedals. And that is what's steering us down the runway.
Okay. Okay.
And it's a great day, so we got other people out flying. There have been a whole steady stream of planes this morning. Some of these people are still here as they, they're working on their planes or doing whatever.
Yeah.
So once we get in the air, I'll turn to a different frequency where there's not any other chatter, and that way we won't get bothered.
All right.
All right, so as we get ready to do our takeoff, we're going to run through our pre-takeoff checklist.
Okay.
And that is, see right there, it says before takeoff. Pull that checklist. It's that section right there. Pull that out. And you can follow along as we run through the checklist. I'm going to get off the runway and get turned around here. And then we're going to do the checklist.
Woo!
Okay, so we're going to start at the top and just follow along with me. So we're going to check our seatbelts to make sure they're tight.
All right.
So seatbelts are tight. Good. Good. Our canopy is latched, so it's all the way forward in the closed position. That's good. Our trim tab is set for takeoff, which is in the middle. Our switches are all positioned properly, which they are.
Okay.
Our radio is tuned to the correct frequency. Our altimeter has been programmed to the right elevation. Our temperatures are in the green, ready to go. These are a little low, but they're going to come up. Oil pressure and oil temperature are both good.
Okay.
Our fuel valve is on. And then we're going to check the engine to make sure that both ignition systems are running. So we're going to watch our RPM gauge here. We're at 1,070. We're going to increase RPM to about 1,800.
Okay.
So we're a little short, but it's 1,770. And then we're going to check each one independently. So there's one ignition, and the engine is running. And then back to both. There's the other ignition, engine's still running, and back to both. Now we've confirmed that both systems are working by turning one off at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's it. And then we're going to check our flight controls to make sure that they're not binding on anything. And we're good to go. So you can stow that back in the pocket. And we're ready.
All righty.
Okay, one last look. Looks like our airport is nice and clear. No one's coming in on final. No one is flying the pattern on downwind. And we look at the runway itself to make sure that there's no people or animals or vehicles crossing. The runway's clear. So we're ready for takeoff. We'll make our radio call, and then we'll go. Roosterville traffic, Sonic 604 Charlie Mike, departing 36, Roosterville. Okay, that was our call to let them know that we're taking off.
Yeah.
All right, we'll position ourselves on the middle of the runway here. So we're lined up. The mixture goes full rich. Our stick comes back. We're tracking the runway center line. Nice and easy, the throttle comes up. And our airspeed is alive. You good?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Wow. We got real high real fast.
That's right. So our altimeter is reading 1,300, 1,340 as we're climbing out.
Okay.
We're going to continue climbing up to about 1,000 feet.
Okay.
And then it's nice and smooth. There's a few bumps down low, so we'll go up over the bumps.
Whoa.
And if you want to hold on, you can hold on to the edge here.
X-ray. Left downwind, I have...
you can hold on to the seatbelt. Sometimes that works.
On short final.
Holding on to the stick's probably not a great idea.
Yeah, you don't want to hold the stick because you'll start affecting how we're controlling.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Is this good volume? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're coming up on 1,000 feet. So this is 1,000 feet above ground, and I'm going to reduce our power a little bit and just set us up for a cruise power. We don't typically fly around at full power.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring the power back to a comfortable cruise RPM, and I'm going to lean the mixture a little bit until we're running about where we should. All right, we'll see what that looks like.
Okay.
So we found some smooth air. We're down above all the little bumps. As the air flows over the trees and the buildings, it gets a little turbulent. We get up above it, and we don't have any of that turbulence.
Yeah. Wow, that is... That's crazy.
All right, so I'm going to start a slow turn back over towards Liberty.
Okay.
And so notice I talked about the stick. The stick basically, it just kind of stays where it stays. Notice I don't have to hold it every second. The airplane wants to fly itself. We just need to give it some guidance.
Yeah.
And so I will use very small pressure on the stick to make the airplane do what we want. I want to do a very slow bank, and we're going to turn over to the right. And we're just gonna,
my legs keep tensing up all of a sudden.
yeah, that's fine. And just let me know if, like I say, you get a little nervous or you have a question.
I think the most nervous was just on takeoff.
Yeah, everything happens really fast, and you're close to the ground. So
That's a pretty creek down there.
all right, so you can see downtown Kansas City right out off our wing, just below the horizon, kind of hiding in the haze out there.
Yeah.
That's the skyline of the downtown.
Huh.
Now, this is the part that flying is so good at, is just enjoying the view. You get a view like nothing else up here.
Yeah.
All right, so Liberty is out in front of us. That's the new Liberty High School right there. That red brick building with the parking lot.
I would know. I go to school there.
There you go. There's the school.
Yeah, my I can see where my house is.
So this is I-35, this main road that we see here, and
Yeah.
you can see how it divides, Liberty into the two sides on either side of the highway.
Yep. Whoa.
Yeah, we hit a little bump. As the air starts moving around, we'll hit a little pocket here and there.
Uh-oh. We left the cat out.
The cat?
I'm just kidding.
Sure.
I was just pretending that I could see that we left
Oh,
the cat
yeah,
out.
I got you. So you fly over the house, and the cat would want you to enjoy it, so you'll be fine.
Yep, that's my house. I can see it. Whoa.
All right, so this is the area right around 152 and 35. So
Yeah.
like that building on the far side, that's the Walmart.
It's
Then we have Lowe's
the
right down
triangle.
there.
Yeah, the triangle.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go over by the river.
All right.
Now we got a better view of downtown.
Yeah.
If you've ever heard about the Ford plant and how big that area is, that's the Ford plant right there.
Yeah, there's a building right next to it where my mom used to work.
All right, so we're going to go over here towards the river, and we'll fly along the river for a minute. And then I want to show you a little bit about the controls themselves, if you're interested.
About the what?
Just about how the controls,
Oh.
give you a little bit of orientation to the controls.
Yeah.
So, actually, I think we're going to go up a little too, because we're starting to get a few bumps over here again. So I'm just going to point the nose up a little bit. So see how the nose is now slightly above the horizon? We're a little nose high, we're going to climb. And if we look, we see our altitude starting to increase. So 2160, 2180, we're slowly kind of climbing up. Switch over to our navigation map so we can see who's in the area. This gives us a broad view of the area. And that little black diamond is another plane out there flying, showing up on radar.
Huh. This is weird. I do not feel like we're turned at all.
That's because the way we're turning, the force is still going straight through the bottom of the airplane. And so it feels like we're just sitting normal. And so unlike in a roller coaster, where a lot of times you feel that pushing you side to side, you don't get that in an airplane. All right, so we got a good view of the river here. This is the Missouri River. If we were to follow it downstream, it would go past Columbia and on its way out to St. Louis. Got a good view of these rock things. What the Army Corps of Engineers has done is they put that rock in the river to push the water over to the right side. They don't want the water on the left side because it's real shallow there. They don't want boats getting stuck in the mud over there. So they push more of the water to the right to keep it nice and deep and fast. And you can see how the sand is accumulating there. It's actually filling the river back in. Over time, that'll just become riverbank.
That's cool.
Cool. All right. You want to try these controls out a little bit?
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing is, let's talk about how to fly straight and level, because that's the first thing that we have to be good at. Then we can worry about climbing and turning and all that. So straight and level, the wings are level, and you can see that we can see the horizon is level, and the nose is generally about on the horizon. It'll vary a little bit. We're still in a little bit of this bumpy air right over the river, so we'll go up just a little bit higher. But generally the nose is on the horizon. Now when I say generally on the horizon, well, the next question is, well, like, what would not be on the horizon? And so I'm going to pull the nose up to show you what would be well above the horizon. So this is generally on the horizon, and if we got the nose up too high, it'd be like that. That's pretty far above the horizon. We are clearly climbing. The nose is very nose high. And depending on how much power we're using, we might be able to climb, or we might not be able to climb with the nose that high. We don't have the power of an F-16. We can't pull it straight up and go.
Obviously.
So we can only have the nose only so high and climb. So yeah, so we're still climbing. Our altitude is 2,800.
I see the airport.
Right there. Or which one do you see? Because there's one out there.
Yeah, that's.
Yep. That's a different airport than we took off.
Oh,
Our airport is over there, and this is the little one right down here. See that white building? That's a hangar building, and there's a small airport right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about what is too high, so now we're back down to generally on the horizon. And likewise, if the nose was too low, see how the nose is now well below the horizon? See how much distance between the nose and the horizon? We're going down. We're losing altitude.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just want to use very small pressure to keep the nose on the horizon. So very lightly, just lightly grip the control stick. Go ahead. And watch the nose, and just use very slight forward-aft pressure to put the nose on the horizon. So see how the nose is a little high? So very slight forward pressure, and it moves it down. Now the nose is a little too far down low, so very slight backwards pressure, and you'll find that perfect spot. And you're looking out over the nose and seeing where the nose is in relation to the horizon. We fly visually, meaning that we visually see the orientation of the airplane to the horizon. Now we have our instruments to help us, but we primarily look out the window and use a visual reference. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right, so if we want to turn, it's the same idea. See how the plane is kind of slightly turning? If we wanted to do more of that, a little bit of pressure that way will cause it to bank. When we bank the airplane to where we want, we don't have to keep pushing over. We can kind of move it back to neutral, and the plane will stay there and continue to turn. And when we want to stop turning, we have to actually roll the other way back to wings level. So they'll roll us back the other way until the wings are level and then neutralize the controls. So go ahead and roll with us. Good. All right. So let's do it in. Let's go. Let's turn so we're going that way along the river. So bank us over, and then let us fly around the turn until we're going that way. Generally following the river. And you can see that when the wings are only banked slightly, we turn very slowly.
Yeah.
If we wanted to turn faster, we would turn the bank. We would bank to a steeper bank. And obviously, you've seen that in the flight simulator.
Yeah.
Okay, so now see what's happening here. See how the nose is slightly down? The nose has kind of fallen a little bit, and we're starting to drop in altitude. So a little bit of back pressure.
Are we going too fast?
No, that's okay. We're just in the caution range. It just means keep an eye on it.
Okay.
So that's fine. Okay, so a little bit of back pressure to bring the nose back up. There, now we're closer to the horizon. That's where we want to be. And now we're along the river, so roll us back to level flight, and let's fly along the river for a minute. Good. All right, let's do a turn over that way. So let's go to the left, and just pick something over there, and kind of look at it. And we're gonna, when the nose of the airplane is aiming at it, then we're gonna roll our wings level and fly towards it.
Okay.
So you have something in mind that you looked at? There's a white farm building right over there. You see it right next to the trees? It may be down below the plane now.
Yeah, I can't really see much.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
What about that building over there?
Sure, that'll work.
All right.
So when we're aimed at that building, then roll back to wings level, and then we're going to fly towards that building.
Okay.
All right, good. All right, so look out to your right. You see this road that we're just getting ready to cross?
Yeah.
So if you turn to the right, the wing will drop and you'll get a good view of it. So push the stick to the right a little bit. See that road? See it right? We're right over the top. Okay, so turn us to follow that road right there.
Okay.
Yep. That one, see how it's
Oh, crap.
Yeah,
Sorry.
right down
I
there.
thought you meant a different road.
No, that's fine. I'm just talking about that road. It kind of goes along straight, then it makes that little zigzag.
Yeah.
So just take us generally along that road over there. So what I want you to do is I want you to get a feel for, how do you steer the airplane in the direction you want to go? Because after all, you're flying, you got to make the airplane go where you want it to go. And then when you get the nose pointed in the direction you want, then you roll back to wings level and you fly that way. Right, good. Okay, see that little piece of water right there? That's actually a little lake right over there. It's not river, it's like it's called an oxbow lake.
Yeah.
It's like a long skinny
Yeah.
pond. Let's go over and take a look at that. So turn us over that way, and then fly so that you can get a good look as we fly by it. So I want you to put the airplane in a position so that you'll get a good look at that lake as we go by it, okay? You
Okay.
decide where to put the airplane.
So is that like where the river used to go?
That's the old river channel, and some time ago, I don't know how, hundreds of years maybe, the river flowed along that channel, and then it meandered over to where it is currently. And it left a little bit of a depression right there, which is now a little lake. And that's what an oxbow lake is. So that one is now like a fish habitat, and a bunch of like geese and other birds will come in and they'll spend the winter, resting there, and then they'll fly back to wherever they go. Although it's not really that full, so there's not a lot of water in it right now. But in another month or so, when we get some good rain, it'll be full.
Yeah, I can see where like the empty bed is.
All right, so if we were to look out the right side, that's back over towards Liberty and back over towards Roosterville where we took off. It doesn't seem like we've gone that far or that long. We've been flying for 18 minutes. 19 minutes now. That's our timer, our air timer. We've been flying for 19 minutes, and Roosterville is about 25 miles away. So we've gone 25 miles just while we've been meandering around looking at stuff. So it goes pretty quick. And we got a great view of that railroad bridge. You can see all that sand is accumulated in the middle. The water hits that center pier, and it slows down slightly because of the drag on the pier and all that. And when the water slows down, any dirt or sand that was in the water falls to the bottom, and creates that big old sandbar.
We should take a canoe down there, my mom and I, and just explore the island.
Yeah. Okay, so see that big old smokestack? Let's not get too close to that because there's a lot of hot air coming out the top of that, and it'll give us some nasty bumps. So we just won't fly over it, we go around it. All right, good. So look out over there in that area. There's a bunch of farm fields, and there's one pond right over there. Can you see it? Kind of see it reflecting the light in the middle of the brown field. Or maybe it's a building. I don't know. It's kind of a white square.
Oh, yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, I see it.
Let's head over there. So aim us over that way.
All right.
All right, good. Nice and smooth. That's what I like. All right, how do those controls feel? Starting to become second nature already.
Yeah.
You've been flying for like 10 minutes, and you're already getting good at it. That's pretty good. All right, so see how the nose is slightly down? And look at our speed increase as a result.
Yeah.
So we dropped about 400 feet, and we picked up a bunch of airspeed because we're coming downhill. And so we're constantly looking for little things like that. We're checking our direction, we're checking our nose, we're checking our altitude, and that's that's just part of flying along, is we're constantly watching that stuff. And just like what happened if we got a little bit low, we realize it and we correct it. We say, oh, we need to climb back up. So we bring the nose up and we climb back up to where we need to be. As long as we catch it before it gets too far out, it's easy to correct. But if we weren't paying attention and all of a sudden we were at like 500 feet, that could be a problem. All right, have you ever been out to Smithville Lake?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So maybe on the way back, we will do a quick turn by the corner of it. It's kind of over by Roosterville. So I'm going to show you how to use our navigation instruments. So this is our map. That little airplane symbol is us on the map. And those little magenta circles are airports all around us.
Yeah, so we're at 0 and 0.
That's Roosterville is 0, November 0. So I'm going to use the scroll knob to zoom out. And so see that blue squiggle? That's Smithville Lake right over there. Okay? So it's about 25 miles away, and it's slightly... We always fly just straight up on the map. we can aim towards the lake.
Kansas City Center on guard, November 2087 November, November 2087 November, contact Kansas City Center 128.6. Kansas City Center 128.6.
Okay, so if we put that lake directly up, straight up on the map, so see that kind of like there's a really light white line right down the middle. That's our track. So you can actually just turn that way, and you'll see the lake come over. And when we're straight up, we're going to fly straight there. So turn us that way. Okay, see how the lake is coming over? So we're turning, turning, turning. We're almost aimed at it. Almost aimed at it. Now we're generally aimed at it. We can level off. And so we can use our map to help us get us going in the right direction real easily. You know, if we wanted to go towards the airport, we can easily see where it is. Okay, now we are going to have to start going back down because as we get close to Kansas City, we don't want to interfere with the airliners going into the international airport. So we're okay now, but we need to go down to about 2,500 feet. So we're at 3,100. So we're going to just do a very gradual descent while we fly towards the airport, down to 2,500. So just like that, just hold that. We don't have to push the nose straight down. We just lower it a little bit and let it start bleeding off altitude. Now our speed is going to increase, but that's okay. As long as it's smooth, we're okay. If we don't want to go that fast, pull the nose up a little bit and just don't descend quite as fast, as rapidly. Or we can reduce power, and that'll slow us down also. All right, so right out over there is an airport called Midwest National. You can see the black rectangle, that's the runway. So we're away from the runway, which is good. We don't want to interfere with them landing. So just hold this line right out this way. Don't turn, just go straight out that way until we're past that airport.
Sorry.
That's okay. And that way we don't interfere with anybody that's trying to make landings over there. Okay, level the nose as we're starting to climb again.
Sorry.
That's okay. Good. So straight out this way is perfect. And keep us going down to 2,500. So we're back over by Roosterville. We're back over by the high school. And we're aiming right for our lake, which is where we want to go. So we're just going to fly that heading straight on out there. Altitude is good. How you doing? Everything good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well,
Yeah, so we're getting back into that low-level bumps, which is why we're just going to hold it at 2,500. We won't go any lower because it'll be a little bit bumpier down lower.
okay.
But, so although it catches you by surprise, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But just know that that is not dangerous. It's not dangerous to us. It won't hurt the airplane. Even though it feels a little uncomfortable, it's perfectly okay.
Okay.
They,
It came off.
yeah, that's okay. You can just set it up there on the panel. We'll get it. Yeah, that's good. All right, so altitude There you go. Watch that nose. Everything's good. Now we can just start to see the lake out there. That's Kearney over there. And what we're going to do is we're going to fly just to the edge of the lake. We'll fly along it for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to turn back in and start making our approach back to Roosterville. So just pick out a spot in the lake that you can see easily, and just fly straight there. And then when you reach the lake, just fly along it, and we'll spend a couple minutes looking at it. So I came by here this morning thinking that there might be some people out fishing. This place was abandoned. I couldn't find a single boat. Probably something to do with the fact that it was near freezing. I suppose that takes all the fun out of it.
Maybe. You smell that?
What's that?
You smell that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe a little bit of exhaust smell. Not sure. Okay, we're starting to creep up a little bit, so let's go down back to 25. So just very slight. There you go. That's perfect. And then just let it kind of bleed off. And
Well,
yeah, gets your attention, doesn't it?
yeah, well,
You're doing great, though.
my hands are getting kind of cold.
Oh, yeah? Well, you want me to take over? No? Okay.
I never realized how many trees there are in the lake.
I know, and especially in those shallow ends, they're everywhere. Now, in about a month, or maybe two, there will be a giant flock of snokies that'll be living out here. They'll be just floating in the middle like a giant iceberg. There'll be thousands of them.
I remember walking a trail down here. I can see it now.
Yeah.
Oh, so, ugh. Not great quality.
Okay, let's turn over this way, so come around to the left. Keep turning. This summer, this place was packed, too. Like, the campground was, like, completely full. There was a lot of boats. There was a lot of campers, though. I think people were looking for things that they could do with the, with the pandemic and all that going on.
Yeah.
They thought, oh, it's a good chance to get out and go camping. Alrighty, so we can see Roosterville 0 November 0 is just about right up in our map, and it's right out in front of us. A little hard to see, but I can see where it is, or where it should be. And we're just going to fly over this way, and I will take over from here.
Alrighty.
I've got it. Alright, I'm going to go back to our frequency so we can start listening for traffic.
Okay.
Alright, so coming in for a landing, we start to get a little bit busy because we got a lot to do. We got to get the airplane configured, we got to get slowed down, we got to fly the right track over the ground to take us to the runway.
Okay. Whoa.
And we got to contend with a few bumps down low.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to land in the simulator because you're not in the cockpit.
Right. Unfortunately, sometimes down low we just have to put up with the bumps.
Well, don't you always?
Yeah, it's one of those things that as you get more experience,
Traffic
just get used to it.
will back taxi on 29 to the ramp.
And people like that, you can't even understand what they're saying.
Sounds like you put pop rocks in a hydraulic press.
Yeah, exactly. So he's too far away, it's too garbled. Okay, so if you look right out there, you'll see a long, skinny building. Right out there, that's the hangar at Roosterville. So we're aimed right at the airport. Roosterville traffic, Sonic 604 Charlie Mike. 1 mile northwest, entering on a 45 for downwind 36 Roosterville. Okay, that lets everybody know where we are and what we're doing. We're on this side of the airport, coming in for a downwind leg. I'm going to start slowing down because we got to start. All right, we are on a downwind leg, so the runway is right off our side here.
Okay.
Going to start getting slowed down. I'll make our radio call. Roosterville traffic, Sonic 604 Charlie Mike, downwind for 36 Roosterville. And our position looks good. We're on a good downwind. The runway is clear, there's nobody on it. I don't see anybody else in the pattern.
Wow. Amber Lake looks tiny from up here.
Yep. Alright, so we'll gradually reduce our power and start slowing down little by little.
There's my old house.
We'll get turned around. Alright, put some flaps on to start slowing. Roosterville traffic, Sonic's base to final 36, Roosterville. Alright, power's back. Get some more flaps on.
CCNC traffic, Sonic 353, Juliet, turning left, crosswind for 27, touch and go, East Kansas City.
Now we're going to use our controls to fly us at the right speed, right to the edge of the runway, so we can make our touchdown. This is where it gets a little busy because we got to do a lot all at once.
Yeah, are we up that high?
We are, but there's trees at the end of the field, and so I'm trying to stay high so we don't drag our wheels through those trees. Our airspeed is good. We want to be around 70. So it's a little high, but it's pretty good. There's the trees, so we're going to keep our distance from them. Got a little bit of power in, so we can clear.
Traffic, Scott 353, Julie limit, turning left downwind for 27, touch and go, East Kansas City.
Okay, so we're just about over the trees.
21 Delta Kilo, left downwind for runway 35, Dallas.
And a little bit of a slip. Get us right over the runway. And now we use the rudder to get lined up and hopefully get a smooth touchdown. And we're down. And very carefully we roll out, keeping control of the airplane.
East Kansas City.
I think there's your mom taking photos. Alright, so we're positioned here, and then shutdown is pretty simple. We want to starve the engine of fuel so that there's no unburnt fuel in there. So we're just going to turn off the fuel supply and let it burn all the fuel out. And that's it. That way it won't accidentally start if somebody turns the prop. There's no gas in it. After that, it's just a matter of making sure everything's pulled out, and we note our time. So we were flying a total of 38 minutes. We burned 4.2 gallons of gas, so we have about a half a tank, 7 gallons left. And that's it. We note our times so we can put it in the logbook, and we're good.